more than your salary feels ready for. That's the reality for Nigerians this week. Refilling a 12.5 kilogram cooking gas, LPG cylinder, now costs 17,500 naira, a staggering 34.6% increase from just 12,750 naira a week earlier. The spike, what's changed and how much? The headline numbers. The cost to refill a 12.5 kilogram cylinder jumped from 12,750 naira to 17,500 naira in 1 week, a 34.6% increase in short order. Smaller units also saw hikes. 1 kilogram cylinders are now priced between 1,350 naira, 1,400 naira, and 1,500 naira, depending on the location. The jump comes amid a supply strain. Many marketers report empty storage, delayed deliveries, and constrained access to the product. The supply explanation from the market. Pengason's industrial action disrupted LPG plants and supply chains, particularly in the southwest, according to the president of NALPGAM, Marketers Association. He said Dangote, a major LPG supplier, has delayed issuing loading invoices to its marketers for over 3 weeks, leaving many in limbo. Faced with stockouts at home, marketers turned to alternative, more expensive suppliers, who raised prices aggressively. Some marketers, anxious not to run dry, felt forced to pay higher rates rather than let their gas cylinders sit empty. Why this matters, beyond just cooking costs. For households already under pressure, a 34.6% jump in a utility like cooking gas bites hard into tight household budgets, especially for lower and middle-income families. Many may revert to wood, charcoal, kerosene, or other less clean fuels, undermining health goals and environmental plans. In urban areas, the cost of charcoal, wood, and petrol for backup cookers will increase with fuel inflation, compounding the burden. For the energy sector and market confidence, the sudden surge exposes fragility in the LPG supply chain. When key players shift or when labor action occurs, prices cascade upward. It signals that monopoly or near-monopoly dependencies, for example, heavy reliance on Dangote for LPG supply, can create systemic risk. Investor and consumer confidence may take a hit if energy goods become perceived as volatile, speculative, or politically vulnerable. For government policy and regulation, this hike places pressure on regulators such as NMDPRA or NUPRC to step in, either by enforcing price ceilings or releasing emergency stocks. Subsidy debates may intensify. Some may renew calls for LPG subsidies or tax relief, especially for vulnerable populations. Policymakers will be judged on whether they act quickly to stabilize supply and restore affordability. Risks, knock-on effects, and key indicators. Risk, possible effect. Supply bottlenecks continue, prices may climb further, or shortages worsen. Exchange rate and import cost volatility. Imported LPG components, spare parts, and equipment cost more when the naira is weak, pushing up marginal supply costs. Worsening inequality. Lower income households forced into dirtier fuels, health risks, energy poverty. Regulator inaction. Market distrust, possible black market or hoarding. Backlash and social tension, consumer protests, negative political pressure. Key indicators to watch: daily LPG imports, delivery schedules, and trucking data, stock levels in major depots and marketers, statements from Dangote, Pengason, and NALPGAM, regulatory interventions or price control announcements, consumer response, alternative fuel usage, protests, social media outcry. What's behind the global and structural pressure? While the immediate trigger was industrial action and supply disruptions, other longer-term pressures amplify the shock. 1. Currency/FX pressure. Imported LPG components, spare parts, and equipment cost more when the naira is weak, pushing up marginal supply costs. 2. Global gas price pressures. International gas, shipping, and freight costs can flare, creating imported inflation in LPG materials. 3. Underinvestment in infrastructure and capacity. Nigeria has struggled historically with gaps in storage, pipeline networks, distribution, and alternative supply sources. 4. Policy inconsistency and weak regulation. Delayed or weak government response allows market actors to exploit shortages, leading to speculative pricing. 5. Corporate concentration and dominant supplier risk. If a few major players control most of supply, for example, Dangote and LPG, any disruption or withholding can cascade into national pricing upheavals. What could help? Possible remedies and moves forward. Short term, emergency import releases. Government can authorize import of LPG to supplement local stock and stabilize price. Regulatory price controls or caps to prevent profiteering during shortage periods. Targeted subsidies or rebates, especially for low-income households, to cushion the burden. Intervention in supply chains, push Dangote or disrupting firms to resume loading, expedite invoices, and prioritize marketers. Medium to long term, diversify LPG supply sources, encourage more players, local, regional, or import, to reduce monopoly risk. Improve storage and distribution infrastructure, more and wider depot networks, better logistics. Strengthen regulatory oversight and accountability so supply chain abuses or hoarding are discouraged. Promote energy alternatives and transition. Encourage electric cooking, solar, or biogas in parallel to reduce full reliance on LPG. Transparent pricing and market data. Public dashboards on LPG stocks, pricing, pipeline flow can deter speculation. Final thoughts. For many Nigerians, cooking gas is not optional, it's essential. A jump from 12,750 naira to 17,500 naira in 1 week is not just a price increase, it's a shock to household budgets, a stress test on supply chains, and a political alarm. The causes are both immediate, labor action and supply cutoffs, and structural, market concentration and regulation gaps. What happens next will test Nigeria's ability to manage energy essentials under pressure. Will regulators act, supply resume, and prices revert? Or will this be the first in a series of upward shocks that push more Nigerians into fuel poverty?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this update and want to stay informed with fast, reliable news, don't forget to subscribe to News Flash 360. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. Your next headline is just seconds away.